Hi, Chris. How you doing, love? Hi, Elaine. I've missed you too. Hello, woodworking woman. How you guys doing? I am going to put some gesso on a few things. Because we're going to play a little bit with some of these metallics. So we're going to do, hi Barb, we are going to work on this little dude, do some more top dots, we're going to do some more top swoops, and I'm going to finish painting this with gesso. I'm going to finish this one as well, and I'm going to recoat that one. This is one that was done with acrylic paint as opposed to gesso. Now this one's been in a drawer banging around for a long time, but you can see it's a lot grayer. So I'm just going to try and find a brush here. I'm not feeling the best, so I apologize. I'm not going to be super talkative and definitely not very loud. I feel like I've got the world's worst hangover without getting to have the fun. So, I'm going to do the best that we can today. You were curious about the clear what? Thanks, woodworking woman. Have net practiced a bit on the dot mandala. Have not practiced? I don't know what that means, Elaine. I'm sorry. I think I've got a sinus infection. Oh no, I'm using black gesso. Clear gesso still works to smooth out your surface, but the black gesso means that you also don't have to paint your background color, which is nice. So we are gonna use black. Don't do over it. What? I'm sorry, I don't understand. If you want the background to come through, then yeah, clear gesso should work. I've never tried it for anything like that, but I'm guessing it would work. I heard don't do over it. Don't overdo it. Oh. Don't overdo it. Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about this. Sorry. Didn't have to yell, Barb. That wasn't necessary. No, I won't overdo it, but thank you. I've done absolutely nothing today, so this is the first thing that I've done all day. Other than sit on a computer all day. Sorry, it took me a minute to get there. I got it now. I just read it in the wrong order, so I won't overdo it. I'm doing okay, Zumaflu. How are you doing? You practiced a little. Oh, wonderful. No, I won't. I won't at all. I'll be fine. I need to do this for me. I'm just going to set that down on a towel because I've already painted some of the top of it. I'm just setting it on a towel so that I don't scratch it at all. But we're going to I appreciate the concern though, you guys. Thank you. I think this is just reaction from my third shot, from my booster. Aw, Zumafu, that's so sweet. Thank you. I'm Italian, I wasn't yelling. I didn't know they had Italian keyboards on phones. That's good to know. I'll remember that. I'm doing okay, Molly. How are you? Hi, Anne-Marie. Hey, Axel. How you doing? I want to play more with these metallics, the flash paints, so I figured if I can prep a couple more stones. If I was painting on canvas, I'd let that dry for 24 hours before painting on it, but on stone, I'm not super concerned because I'm not using it so much as a base coat to smooth anything out for me. I'm using it much more as a base coat and like a base color, as opposed to something that's smoothing like the gesso will do on canvas. But if I'm painting on canvas, gesso is a must. You don't have to use gesso on your stones. Painting with regular paint will do you good too. Your last big final happened today. Oh, thank you, Zumafu. No, we're just getting started, honeys. Yeah, there's lots of different options there. So if the clear, hopefully the clear will give you what you need. Now I have paint all over me and no wet cloth. All right, bear with me 1 second, you guys. I just have to go and wipe off my hands and get a cloth, and then we will come back to paint. So I will be right back. All right, you guys. Ow. I love that. That's amazing. Thank you, Zumafu. One more day of school. That's amazing, Molly. That's wonderful. And then do you start the next semester up right away, or do you have a day off, or what's the deal with that stuff? Here is the dry flash metallics that we used on this heart last night. I still am regretting the choice of color in here with the pink. I wish I'd gone back to the regular rainbow, but I will do that on the next one, which is fine. So that's kind of cool how that one turned out. The other one we'll do some top dots and top swoops on in a few minutes. But first, let's do our top dots on the relief mug. So this is where we're at right now. We're going to be doing some more top dots just out here on these outer edge ones. And we've got another top dot to do here on the handle. All right, just finish up my quadmaster. Nice. So do you have you have time off until the 1st? Let me scroll back. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up, you guys. I'm doing okay, Axel. Thank you so much for asking. We get until Thursday off, then we start semester 2. Thursday is in tomorrow? No, because tomorrow, so you get a week. Well, I was trying to follow the color order, right? Going, so I wouldn't get to the pink again out here, because my next color would be going back to the yellow and then the orange. This one was kind of just a test to see how they work. I think once I get out to these dots out here, I think I'd like to kind of use that little, that little bump in the middle. I think I'd like to use that to my advantage somehow. Just not really sure how yet, but I'm sure there's a way to. So we're going to keep playing with these for a little bit. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's really, really shiny. I like the pink color. I just don't like it on this stone. To me, it looks like I made a huge mistake. I think it's because I thought the pink would be much more of a magenta. Like on here, it looks much more purpley pink compared to there. But there's always mixing possibilities. But yeah, it's smackier in the face, shiny, eh? Which is fun. I think it's going to be fun on a canvas. I really, really think it's going to be fun on a canvas. Thanks, Elaine. Thanks, Zumufu. That's so sweet. Ooh, ah. You guys are cute. I love you guys. You're at work, Zumufu? Nice. Well, I'm happy to keep you company while you're at work. That's all right, Molly. I think we're all there. At least I am for sure. She is special, isn't she, Jan? My brain's tired, but I'm okay. Aw, thank you, Lala. So, Damon, how are you? Nice, Axel. That's awesome. I'm so glad you like that. Thank you. That's awesome. But I like the pink splash nonconformity. Well, I will finish it off and then maybe it will be available for adoption for somebody. Oh, I'm glad you guys like it. Thank you. Okay, so let's do our final top dots on this one. So we're going to go to white. It's going to add just that tiny bit. Might not even be super noticeable. Like when you look at the two sides, can you see? I can always see that there's something different over here, but I'm never quite, it's not super obvious that it's the white dot. That's why it's so easy for them to slip through the cracks and to miss one. All right, so there's that. Hey, Carolyn, thank you. Dudettes. Thank you. I wanted to pull the dark purple from the center out to the edges, and I think that the top swoop did that pretty good. Downtime, wonderful. Thank you, Sophie. All right, so now we need to do right there, we need to do a top dot and a size, I'm guessing a 3. Yeah, I think a 3 should do it. Let's see, pick up enough paint. Don't have much of this one left. So then we've got that, and then we'll put the white on after this one dries. So we might even be able to do the final top dots at the end of this hour. We'll see. And then I'll give the mug a final wipe down. I'll let her dry, and relief. We can feel the relief of the relief mugs being done. I did not feel a ton of relief while painting them, so it's going to be nice to have them done. So this is the white one. Same color, same design. The only thing that's different was that we did top dots on the center dot. And I didn't do the dark top swoops on there. So that is the only difference that we have for between the white and the black mug, but otherwise everything is absolutely identical. All right, I need to go back to the 3 again. Thanks, guys. Final wipe down is just waiting until it cures and getting any dust and stuff off of it, making sure there's no little pieces of paint stuck anywhere that I didn't see. Just cleaning it up, making sure it's nice and clean. Yeah, it's crazy how different it is, right? Crazy how different. Like, see, I've got like just little bits here and there, so I'll clean down the surface. Not usually when I'm cleaning up here. I might use a little bit of alcohol like Jan mentioned, but I don't want to risk getting any of the alcohol close to the paint because I don't want it to lift off. So I will probably try as best as I can to just use a damp cloth. A hard time picking color palettes? Have a look out, start on Pinterest and start, they found 5 more spots. Oh, Carolyn. Are you okay? Thanks, Molly. Are you okay, Carolyn? Thanks, Soul Damon. So yeah, I can definitely use the alcohol for sure because it will get any smudges and everything off of there. Giving myself time to sing right now the song I'm doing. Oh, that's so nice, Molly. That's so cathartic. You're most welcome, my dear. You're most welcome, Chris. Pinterest doesn't say the names of colors, but if you can at least get some ideas of some to kind of go together, it can be a start at least. I do have a friend who is developing a bunch of color palettes though, and I do know that Christina Lee, who studied color theory in school, being a member of her Patreon gives you access to all of her color palettes, and I believe that she gives brand and color names, but I'm not 100% sure. But it might be a possibility for you. Hey Jules, hey Paula. Doing all right, not feeling great today. As long as you're okay, Carolyn, sending you lots and lots of love. Thanks, Coach Rocky. I'm really proud of you for giving yourself some time, Molly. That's wonderful. All right, let me get this final center dot done. Reminder that this mug is not going to be able to be a mug to drink out of. This is going to have to be a holder of some kind because it has a big crack in it. So I'm going to, once I'm done painting everything, I will fill the crack with some glue to try and hold it together. You can see it there. And then you can see it down on the bottom. It cracks all the way around the handle. You see it there. Goes all the way around. So this one will not be a drinkable mug. You're welcome, Carolyn. Sending you so much love. Oh no, Jules. Bad sinus. I feel like a sinus infection coming on. I don't know if it's actually something or if it's just some kind of reaction because I got my 3rd shot on Sunday. So I'm not really sure. Was it a good class, Jan? She's such a good teacher. She has so much knowledge, right? Year plus color trends. Oh, there you go. That's good to know. Hi, Emmy. How are you doing, Paula? How are you doing, Jules? Are you okay? All right, so let's do, so this one is going to have one more top dot here on the handle, and then it will be donezo as well. Then I just need to sign these two, and then they'll be good to go. Oh, thanks, Molly. Take care of yourself. It was good to see you. I can be your treat cup, but not if you have kids. Exactly. I'm doing okay, Emmy. Thank you. Oh, Carolyn. Thank you. I don't even know where it is. I don't even know where it is. Hey, Cindy. How are you doing? How was your surgery today? Are you okay? Are you all right? Oh, thank you. Painting a bunch. Yay. I'm so proud to make it this long without catching it. Oh, it's so frustrating, eh? Especially when you're like, I'm doing everything that I said I'm supposed to do. I don't know if it's that or if that she just physically can't see it because of the surgery today, Jan. I think it might have been that. Miss Cindy had her second eye done today. Okay, I'm gonna take 2 quick seconds and see if I can find my wrist brace. I'm not counting on it, but I'm not painting mugs today, so if I don't find it, it's not a big deal. I was able to find it. That was easier than I expected it to be. Yeah. I pretty much isolate. That's the hard part. Throat isn't sore. It's the head cold sinus thing that seems to be happening. And that's the thing, right? It could be from the shot. It could just be something that I caught and I didn't notice until then. Who knows? I feel like you guys have been buoying me an awful lot lately, and I appreciate you for doing that so much. But I'm really looking forward to the day when when that's not necessary. Oh, you know what we could paint? I know what we're gonna do. Oh, I so know what we're gonna do. Oh my God, I'm excited. All right, we first of all are grabbing a stone. Keep swiping up and rejoining. Oh, thanks, Cindy. I'm fine. It's just one of those times where I even notice that I'm talking quieter because everything just seems so loud. Like, if I could have sunglasses, that would be great. Or, you know, if you have your hair pulled up and you start to get a headache and then you let your hair down and how it hurts when your hair moves. You guys ever have that? That's how it feels right now. So it's just there, you know. It's not super bad, but it's there and it's noticeable, right? All right, so let's see here. We are going to grab 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 more. And 2 more. And we are going to paint with some new colors that I got at the dollar store. So bear with me, I'm just gonna find my scissors. Scissors should be right there. Got my scissors. Need a stencil. Where are my stencils? I'm gonna have a stencil and the other thing that I needed was, my watercolor pencil crayon and my pencil sharpener. All right, I've been dying to use these colors. This is not going to be based off of anything from the card. From the cards, this is just for fun. Yeah, I need to figure that out. I've thought about, I've seen these really cool crochet bags that go over door handles. You just hang it from your door handle and you can kind of stuff stuff in it. And I've thought about making something like that where I can hang that sort of stuff in here or even just off the back of my chair or something would be nice. Oh, Cindy, how are you feeling though? Yeah, I know. I feel like it's pretty obvious that I'm not myself tonight. I'm so sorry, you guys. Oh, that would be a cool idea. I've had a really hard time finding opaque matte white paint. Any suggestions? I have not had any luck. So let's cut some of these little containers. Oops, I always cut these little extra bits off. And now maybe this white paint is going to be a good one. Who knows? We will find out soon enough. All right, so I've got all my little paint containers. So let's not look forward to my booster tomorrow. I got really sick with my second one. Oh, Metal Girl, I hope that you feel okay tomorrow. Please take care of yourself. Can you stock up on some stuff, like some comfort stuff, some soups and all of that good stuff? I've been sitting under my heating blanket for a long time, most of the day, just like sitting under a heating pad. And of course, you know, it's not the only thing that came to visit. Good job. Good. That way, and you know what? And if you end up being fine, then that's okay too, right? Sorry if that was creepy. I didn't mean to. Oh, shoot. Haven't taken the lids off. So this is paint that I got at Dollarama here in Canada. And at first I thought it was going to be heavy bodied paint that I was going to have to mix with pouring medium to thin it down. But then I wanted to just kind of play with one of them, and it turns out they are just nice, slightly thicker crafters acrylics. So Amazon for the paint, I'll have to take a look. So whenever I see new paints at the dollar store, Kalon Sunshine. Who's that? Is that a new username that I don't recognize? Hello? Get what lines on where? Sorry, Melissa, I'm not sure. Do you mean on this? This is a stencil, so it's silicone. It comes off, and then I can put this on the center of the stone because every stone has a little center on it, and you can actually put that on there and then use that to draw guidelines. So this is a stencil. So no lines on there yet, but we will be adding some here soon. So I've got white. I've got this beautiful pink. Yeah, this is a stencil from Happy Dotting Company. I believe, I don't know if Dot Art Depot does as well, but they're stone stencils, and they're silicone, right? So that's kind of nice because you can use them. I use them to help myself find the center on my necklace pendants, on small stones, but they come in a couple different sizes, and they can be really, really helpful. Really, really helpful. So that you can get with at Happy Dotting Company. And then we have this green. And I bought all of these paints the moment that I saw them because they all looked so pretty together and I wanted to paint it together. So it's really nice because it's... So these are paints I got from my local dollar store, from Dollarama. I believe they're Dollar Tree brand too. Kaylon Sunshine, let me know who you are. I haven't made the connection. Oh, did it look like that from the angle? Sorry, love. So then we have this one. Oh, that one's already been done. I'm telling you though. And then we've got that taupe color. Did I hurt my nail? No, that's just crappy nail polish that hasn't come off yet, Ange. Sorry. Yeah, that's the hard part, right? Dollar Tree in the US has a lot of different stuff than Dollar Tree in Canada, unfortunately. Oh no, that's okay, Kayla. Kale on Sunshine. Sorry. Kale on Sunshine. Well, happy to have you here. Yeah, it's just old polish. About 2 months old, maybe. Well, maybe only about a month old. All right. And then we have this pink. Isn't that pretty? It's a little bit more purpley in person. It's not quite so bright pink in person. But, oh yeah, I did forget. I'm sorry. I forgot that you were in Ontario. Sorry, love. Your hands get dry using paints? How so? From all the washing? My hands used to get dry because I used to have to wash my hands a lot. Are you going to show how this thing works? Yep, I'm getting there. I'm just getting my paints ready, and then I will. Oh, yeah. With dotting, it's a little bit easier because I don't have to stick my hands in water very much. I can just wipe off my tools, so I don't have to worry about that. So, yep, I'm getting there. Bear with me. Patience, patience. And we will get there. Have a stamp, not a sticker on the bottom. That's all right. I'll sign around the edge. I've got lots that have stamps on them too. So I need to sharpen my pencil. So I need to find my center. Now, there is a small nub in here that I actually sand down. When you make these stones, they come out of the mold with a little bump. So I'm actually just going to try and find it here because I can feel it. It's right there. So now that I've got this little dot here, what I'm going to do, paints are pretty, eh? Excuse me. Oh, freak that hurt. Okay. All right, so I put that little yellow dot that I made that's there. I'm putting that. Let's see if I can come up here and show you. So I am finding, see how I found the dot there in the middle, and then I fold it down, and then I just go through. Going around. Thank you for the blessed poos. You guys are so sweet. And then in there. And then go around. Sometimes I'll go around and fill in these edges here, so I'll show you what they look like. So the ends of the T's. So if you do that, then this is what it looks like. I personally prefer to have a solid line going around. So what I'll do is I'll use my compass now, and I will sorry, my hand's gonna get in the way here. And then when you move your compass out to the farther edge, you still want to be able to keep... You sneeze too? So you want to be able to keep this part straight up and down. You don't want to lean it out this way because that's not going to give you the shape you want. So what you want to be able to do is while you're sitting here like this, adjust your pencil so that it falls down on the surface. You might want to move it around just a tiny bit. You can create as many different guidelines as you want, and then you can always even go out to the edge here and drop it down. What I'll typically do is I'll raise it back up a little bit, and then I'll pull it back in so that it's pushing up. And I'll actually hold my hand as it goes around to make sure that it actually draws something. Or just continue that way. And then we've got a guideline around there, like that. So I am going to shorten that back up, bring it up here, and I haven't been the person that I want to be today. I've been cranky today, and I'm not happy with how I've shown up today. So I'm trying to kind of let some of that go. This is gypsum cement. So it's manufactured stone. The other thing that you can do if you want to connect all of these lines, a flexible tape measure will work well too. It's actually much simpler than you could ever imagine, this and that. Hated the compass in school, yeah. It's cool though, eh? Thank you guys. Thank you for the bless. ASMR painter this evening, does it sound good? Oh, the furball's doing good, love. Thank you. She's doing good. I gave her a bath today, so she was angry. But I'm going to get back on to giving her the baths every 3 days and see if that helps with her skin. I did leave her out of the hoodie for a little while the other day, and she scratched the same spot again. So it was a little disheartening. But I think as usual, I'm assuming that my energy is affecting everything in some way. And you know what I'm going to do actually with these other colors? I'm going to keep some of this metallic pink too. We'll maybe use a little bit of that. The paints are pretty though, eh? So I make a lot of the blank stones. I do have some available for sale on my website. I've got round stones, I've got candle holders, I've got puffy hearts, I've got flat hearts like this. So there is a link in my bio if you need some blank ones to paint on. I'm going to be making a ton more. I just need to finish up that space. Oh, you're sweet. Yeah, but I also believe my attitude has something to do with that too. But that's okay. We'll get there. We will get there. So, we need to pick a center color. And I'm thinking that I would really, really, really like to do a yellow center dot. Now, one thing I forgot. When you are doing your guidelines, you want to make sure you have an eraser. I use watercolor pencil crayon. You can use charcoal pencil. I used to use charcoal pencil a lot, but I spent so much money buying new ones because the leads would always break off. I spent so much money on pencil sharpeners and so much money on charcoal pencils because I couldn't get them to sharpen without the ends breaking off and get them into a nice sharp point. So my friend J-Mart, she suggested watercolor pencil crayons, and they have been really, really great. So the thing with any kind of pencil, whether it's charcoal or whether it's watercolor pencil crayon, is that they will leave a little bit of buildup behind. If that buildup is something that you dot over, it can actually pinch the dots in from the side. So imagine that this is a dot, but it's kind of almost in like this on either side. And it's because I'd be crossing this line right here, right? So what you can do to alleviate that is just, oh, Carolyn, please take care of yourself, and I'm sending you so much love. Thank you for coming and hanging out. Please, please, please take care of yourself. I do not want to sit here and bitch and complain about having a cold to you, my dear, and I'm so sorry. I love you. Yeah, the black makes a big difference, eh? So this is painted with black gesso. So it's this color when it comes out of the mold. It's just a cold. It's more my attitude that's bothering me today than anything. The headache is there, and that's there, but I'm in a better spot mentally than I have been. I'm not just bursting into tears all the time, but today I allowed my irritation to get the better of me, and I don't like when I do that. Something I try to make a conscious effort of, but so it doesn't help, having those thoughts at the same time as I am preparing a stone. You're welcome, Carolyn. I am preparing a stone to paint a dot mandala on it. So I'm just slightly erasing these guidelines. I can still see them, right? But they are now much less likely to impact the shape of my dots. Oh, now I feel awful. Caroline gets bad news and I sit and bitch about having a cold. That's nice. All right, here we go. Oh, thank you, Georgia. It's good to see ya. I'm so glad. Yes, I do. I do make mandalas. All right, so let's get our center dot started, shall we? All right, so I'm going to start with a yellow, because I really want to start with the yellow. All right, so we are going to start with a fairly large dot. What are we going to start with, size 22? 22 seems to be. Thanks, Jan. All right, let's get to painting, shall we? So actually, let me talk about this. This is something that can be frustrating as well. If you leave such a large line around your center circle, sorry, I just remembered this. I want to bring this up. I've got another one of these somewhere too, but I would highly recommend that if you use one of these stencils, use your compass and create an even smaller circle. I have this little stencil. I got this off of Amazon. Not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. You can even trace one of your tools that you want to use to just help with that placement a little bit, so you know that you're not super, super off. Okay. All right, so let's jump in with the yellow. I feel like I want the yellow and the taupe to be front and center here. When you're placing your center dot, be very aware of the pressure that you are applying when you're bringing the tool down onto your surface. That's going to impact the shape and the size of your dot. This is a dot you want to take your time with. I kind of do it this way because I find that I don't put the tool down perfectly straight up and down. I don't go perfectly perpendicular here, so I want to try and kind of coax that paint into a different shape. I did get my 4-inch dot mandala pattern, first pattern done. So it is going to be available very soon too. You're so awesome, Christy. Rock canvas, right? Exactly. Everything I look at now, I look through a filter of, can I paint that? I wonder if I could paint that. That's awesome, Helen. Oh, you're welcome, Sunnybuck. I'm glad that that's helpful. I have this one. Has all the different sizes, but I also have one that's just like a normal sheet of paper, but it's flexible plastic, and it works really well too because it's a little bit moldable. But when you have too big of a space to fill, I find it's really, really, really easy to what's the word? I don't know. It's really easy to be off center. So the smaller the dot that you can be kind of playing with, then the better, and trying to fill should make life a little easier. Oh, nice. That'll be fun, Elaine. That'll be awesome. Super fun. I've never dotted an LP before. That should be good. We're going to start with white, and we are going to start with a micro dotter, I think. All right, so let's see what these paints are like for the rest of it. They're slightly heavier than craft acrylics, so I have a feeling that they're going to be really, really nice to paint on. And I'm painting with guidelines, which I'm not used to. I don't usually use guidelines, so this is a nice treat. Guidelines aren't necessary in all cases. Depends on how complex you want to get with things. But they can definitely be very helpful. A lot of times I'll put guidelines down and then never even refer back to them, never use them. So they're nice to have, though, just to let you know if you're on the right track sometimes. I find it especially satisfying when there is, when there's these round guidelines. Number one, because I like to do concentric circles around things, so having these guidelines there can help with that. And that's just a whole row of circles that are all the same size going all the way around, or multiple rows that are all the same size just going all the way around. But I find it really satisfying when I'm building out petals and if they all hit a guideline so that I know that my spacing worked out well. That always feels really nice. 3 mugs, that's amazing. How do you keep it smooth though so that the dots don't get misshaped? That was always my confusion. So I only have enough space here to do 2 dots in between. Once you see how much room you have, you can decide if you have enough room to do 2 dots or 3 dots. I definitely only had room to do 2. There are a lot of dot artists out there that they don't space out this first row. They just dot around their center dot until they meet up, and they actually don't start focusing on spacing or having the rows relate to each other, I should say, until the second or third row. So you might see artists like Fine Rosa do that. And that's all just personal preference. So I like to do this because I like it. It makes it a no-brainer for me having to think about spacing. Right? If I've got the spacing down here, then I don't have to think about it again for a while until I either change the element that I'm using, the element of the design that I'm using, or until I excuse me, or until I want to completely, or just to kind of watch, I guess, the spacing. Let me scroll back here. That's impressive though, 3 mugs, well done. Your paint dries up too quickly on the stone, on the surface. Where is your paint drying? Built in? Yeah, I figured that. They're more dotty and less mandala. Yep. Dot painting is definitely very different than dot mandala painting, for sure. Pick the colors. I just sit and look at some of the paints that are around me and decide which ones jump out at me and which ones I want to see. Sometimes I get inspirations from other artists and color combinations that they use, and I want to give them a try. Sometimes it can be from something in nature. Sometimes it's just, I know I want to use teal, so I go onto Pinterest and search for other colors that I could put with teal. Sometimes they just pop into my head. And I just really listen to myself when I can, as often as I can. When I'm using color combos, I pay attention to the ones that I really, really like, that are really pleasing to work with and really pleasing to look at. And make sure that I just kind of have a bit of a memory of that so I can go back to them and maybe try them with different colors. I'll also use a test canvas quite often to sit and just try colors together to see if I like them. But I do have a friend who's actually working on creating some other color palettes. So again, keep an eye on Christina Lee because in her Patreon she does a lot of color palettes, and I believe she does some lives now and then talking about color theory. But I will also share this other resource when she gets up and running as well. This one is way too small. There's still going to be some spacing issues every once in a while, but you know what? It's going to be all right. So I'm going to use the dark pink now. In the palette, okay, that's actually one of the reasons why I switched to these little paint pots, because I had the same issue. The only thing that I found that worked when the paints were in a palette was to take a damp paper towel and then wrap it in tin foil or saran wrap. That's about right. Can ask the difference between dotting and a mandala. A mandala is a very specific shape that is built on sacred geometry and symmetry. It's used in meditation. Dot painting is painting with dots, right? So when you're filling in spaces and you're creating pictures with dots and using the dots, that's more pointillism, which is also dot art, whereas mandalas are these specific shapes. So mandalas can be done with dots, with anything. It's the shape itself for that. Oh, awesome. Paula already answered that question for me. Look at that. It does look pretty good right out of the bottle, eh? I love these little paint pots. They're fantastic. Yeah, so as long as they have like the petals and the sacred geometry, that's the other reason with dividing all the spaces up. When you get those ratios and dividing everything up, then that can make a difference as well. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. We are actually going to go to teal. Yeah, and that's the beauty of it, right? There's dot painting / dot art, and then mandalas is a whole other part of it as well. Some people do both, some people do one or the other. It's all personal preference. I 99% of the time I do mandalas or things created from some of the basic patterns in mandalas to create shapes in different designs and pictures. So it's pretty rare that you'll see me doing something that isn't at least inspired by a mandala in some way. Highlight your color shine. How you making out practicing your swoops? When the edge is smoother, yeah, it takes some time, eh? Swoops test you for sure. They test you to make you slow down. They test you to see if you can just zone in. But swoops definitely test you. swoops I find the best are, if you're going to do the dragging, the best option is the nail dotting stylus tools. If you're going to do the technique where you lay down the paint and then drag it into shape, one of the things that you might be able to find at a local Dollar Tree is an embossing tool. That might be a really nice option because they're super, super sharp. I'll show you the one that I got. It came in a pack of 2 at Dollar Tree, and it has these little things here on the bottom, and it has, or embossing or scoring tools. I think they might be considered similar. These ones are great because they've got a nice sharp point. I also most often will take a pin, you know, the pins that have the little plastic ball on the end, the colored balls. I snipped it and I stuck it in the end of an eraser, and then this is what I use to pull my swoops. So when in doubt, potentially create your own tool. It might work. It's not a guarantee it's going to work, but there's a shot. All right, so we're going to go dark pink all the way around in every other space. So see how these dots over here are a little more spaced out and a little larger than the ones over here? This is why I'm not panicking, because I do have that guideline down. So now my only concern is not the size of these dots, but is it going to fit within that guideline? Because it will help to camouflage as you build more and more design onto the piece. It will camouflage any of these imperfections. So now as I'm getting over to this side where those dots are a little bit smaller, I am making sure that my dots reach that guideline on the edge. Then we have that. So yeah, the spacing's quite a bit different over here than it is up there, and that's totally okay. Totally, totally fine. We are going to go to the white now. That's entirely possible too. When in doubt, add more paint. So yeah, that might be, because if that tool's not working for you, then the paint amount of paint might be the option there. But I put the pin in the end. Oh, nice. That's awesome. That's perfect. Yeah, like in one of those silicone brushes. Perfection. All right, so I'm going to go and do, see now these should be coming up this line, but because of my spacing, I'm not going to fight it. I'm not going to try and convince it to go somewhere it's not wanting to go. So I'm just going to try and create a straight line here, and I'm not going to worry about those guidelines anymore. So don't panic if your piece gets off of the guidelines, okay? Don't panic. Spacing is important, and you can, of course, choose to be very meticulous with that sort of stuff, but do that if it feels fun to you. Sometimes it can feel really fun to be super painstakingly attentive to the guidelines, right? Because sometimes again, it can be super satisfying when you start hitting these guidelines when you're creating stuff, right? One second. Excuse me. So there's nothing wrong with sticking with the guidelines. So that's when you really might want to draw these lines all the way through, because I find that that's what does me in, right? Is the fact that those lines are not there and in my face all the way through sometimes. That's can have that spacing issue for me. All right, so put the pink dots. Yeah, try that with more paint and see if that helps. Pencil lines after, use an eraser and then a cotton swab, a wet cotton swab. I use an eraser first to get rid of as much of it as I can, and then I go back over it with a wet cotton swab. Make sure you're cleaning off your tool very, very often. This spacing is going to muck me up big time. But that's okay. We'll deal with it. Oops. I have tried some Mod Podge, but what I've found is that I don't know if it was the way that I was drying them and curing them, but they kind of always had a little bit of a sticky finish. And it's really, really disappointing because if you like a nice matte finish the way that I do, Mod Podge matte is absolutely delicious. Now, the last time I used it, I was living on the farm in my camper where I had a crap ton of water damage and built up moisture in my home, so I don't think it dried properly there, and it was in the summer and humid and not temperature controlled and all of that sort of stuff. Now I'm also going to try, I had a suggestion from another artist that said adding a bit of water to the Mod Podge can make it go on smoother, and it might even help with some of that stickiness. So just kind of keeping that in mind, that might be a good option. Liquitex has some nice varnishes. It really depends on where you're going to put the stone. If it's going to be inside, then you really only need to use artist varnish. If it's going to be outside, then you might want to use some kind of weatherproof varnish. If it is going to be in the sun outside, then you might want to use something with some UV protectant. Now, a lot of the artist varnish will have some UV protectant in them as well. So you want to kind of try a few different ones. First, start with what kind of finish you want. Do you want matte, gloss, or satin, right? Hang on one second. I'm just going to blow my nose, you guys. One sec. So sorry, you guys. Colors are pretty so far. I'm excited to add in some of the taupe. Can't even tell the spacing. Yay! That's what I hope, right? Is there's ways to kind of excuse me, trick the eye. And that's can be with these walking dots. Hey Shannon, I'm doing good. How are you? Now some of them are going to be a lot closer to each other than others, but we'll deal with it. Now these are new paints again. Excuse me. Right, so the other thing that we're watching for is as it dries, because we don't know, I haven't tested these paints on anything, I don't know if they dry to be opaque or if they get really dark after they dry, so we're going to keep a close eye on that. All right. How are you doing, Shannon? You staying warm? Swipes can do it sometimes, eh? Mm-hmm. Out and in, out and in. Takes a lot of practice, but you'll get there. Oops, that wasn't enough paint. There we go. All right. So now we are going to use taupe. Actually, what we're going to do first is we are going to do yes, okay, we are going to do taupe here. Oh, I'm so glad, Susan, thank you. They're handmade, it adds... Exactly, right? Well, it's like finding an Easter egg in a movie. That's how you know that it wasn't made by a robot, right? All right, so I'm going to go with taupe. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, actually. I'm going to go with... What size was that? That was a 7/8. So we're going to use a 9. I want a fairly large one. Thanks for coming to hang out, you guys. I'm going to be doing a shop restock on Saturday. I'm going to have some mugs, some new mugs to put up. I'm really excited about. It's going to feel good. I haven't done one in a few weeks. I do love this color. It's pretty. Oh, that's a pretty color. Mm-hmm. All right. The paint is from my local dollar store. I'll show you. This is the brand. Looks like that. I quite often found at Dollar Tree. I actually found these at a Dollarama. So, and they come in these nice 3.3 ounce tubes. And they're good right out of the bottle. I was kind of concerned that they were going to be heavy paints, but they were not. An Easter egg in a movie. You ever heard of... You know when they'll leave clues for other movies and sequels, or there will be certain hidden scenes, or you can find certain stuff on DVDs. Those are called Easter eggs, hidden things in movies and stuff. The stencil is from Happy Dotting Company. The pen is actually a dotting tool that I dip into the paint. They come in a whole bunch of different sizes, and they are by a company called DIY Mandala Stones. They're available on Etsy or Amazon. Oh, thanks, Cindy. How you feeling? You doing okay? Yeah, the company is called DIY Mandala Stones that makes the tool. Yeah, they have a website as well. All right. So now we are going to do another row of white again. Just chilling and watching. Good. Oh, you're welcome. This and that. One of these days, I'm going to figure out how to use highlights on my stories on Instagram, and I will put all of this information there so that I have a spot to refer you. And I'll see if, I don't know if I can link to a highlight in my Beacons link, which is like Linktree. But I will give it a shot. But as of right now, I have no idea how to do that stuff, and it is so not top of my list, but at some point I will. I'm gonna also do a series of videos here on TikTok that'll be a series about tools and paints that I use. Those things are on the list to create. You're welcome, Artsy Parts. Hi, Gabby Cakes. The lines on the rocks, I use a stencil and a watercolor pencil crayon. Oh, I'm glad this is helpful. All right. Thanks, Barb. I'm glad you're able to just chill and enjoy, Cindy. That's so good. Yep, I've used resin a few times. Not a ton, but I've used it a few times. I've made some necklace pendants out of resin. I've covered a couple tabletops with resin. Thanks, Feeny. Hey, Sharon. This is very much Fine Rosa inspired. Make sure you're cleaning off your tool very, very regularly. It's so funny because I used to paint primarily stones and now it's been so long since I do. I feel so unbelievably out of my comfort zone painting this right now because I'm so used to the mugs. Oops. This paint is really nice though. I'm interested to see how it dries, to see if there's any cracking. You can see that the yellow isn't super, super opaque. It might be the kind of paint that takes, on the big dots, takes a second coat to really get it nice and opaque, but I think that's only going to be necessary if you're not going to do top dots too, right? But I can kind of see the black showing through, but it might not matter once the whole piece is dry. I might just be noticing it now, but the paints travel really nicely with the tools. I'm getting nice consistency in my dot sizes when I'm dipping in there, so it's a nice consistency of paint. So yeah, I'm interested to see how it looks when it dries, to see how it turns out. The name of the paint, I don't know if it's Craft O or Crafts, or if that's another letter on the end, but that is the picture of the brand. Hey Chris, how you doing, love? So this is, I call it a micro dotter. It's a clay sculpture tool. Painting I made this stone out of gypsum cement and a mold, and now I'm painting it with a dot mandala. What really drew me to stones way back when I first started doing them was I really liked, every time I found one in a search, they weren't called mandala stones, they were called meditation stones. And I really, really liked the idea of being able to create something that people could find soothing to use during a meditation. So the idea is that there's all of these different dots on here, and that you move your finger or your thumb from one dot to another while you're meditating, and repeating mantras or just counting, however you get into that meditative state. And I really, really liked that idea. It was actually what I was going to be basing my entire business off of, was what can I make that people could put into their meditation space, right? Like, you want something for your meditation space, that I'm the person you come to. You want a beautiful piece of art, you want a floor pillow, you want a coffee mug, you want a candle holder, you want a stone to hold on to, you want a wall hanging, you want curtains, like whatever that thing is. That was kind of what my idea was. And thank you so much, T1517. I appreciate the compliment. Thank you. You're welcome, you guys. Best day so far. I love that answer. Thank you. Thank you, Cindy. So these ones here that have the metal balls on the end are called nail dotting stylus tools, or clay sculpture tools. And these ones you can get, especially these ones, I really, really like these ones. These ones are double-ended, so they have different sizes on each end. So see, there's a small one. Let's see if I can get it to show up. A small one on that end, and then a larger ball on the other end. So these double-ended tools. You can get these on Amazon, but you can also get them at Dot Art Depot. And Barb did share a coupon code that you can use that is Jamie10. I'll do this here, so if you want to screenshot it at dotartdepot.com, Jamie10 will give you 10% off. You can get the dotting tools. You can get other stencils to help yourself lay out designs on flat surfaces as well. You can get molds for making your own stones. That's where I actually got the mold for this little tiny heart stone that I've got going on there. Lots and lots of really cool tools on dotartdepot.com. That's who I started learning from, was Lydia May. So hopefully there's some good resources there for you. Thank you, Oddballs. My email address is oddballs. That's so funny. All right, so now we're going to go with teal. Is that cute? Did I do something cute? That's nice. Okay, so I'm going to go here, and we're going to do some swoops. So I'm not going to use my other tool. I'm just going to do the dragging. Like so. If you're new to dotting and you still want to learn, I do have a Facebook group as well. And I've got some awesome admins that help me out there. But one of them actually does some live beginner lives in the Facebook group. There's a lot of incredible artists there too that you can connect with. Lots of people willing to share information and help each other out. So if that's something that you think would be helpful for you, just make sure that if you do put in a request to join the Facebook group, that you answer and make sure you agree, read all the group rules, and make sure you note that you agree to all of the group rules. Otherwise, the request to join the group will be declined. As soon as I see a request that comes in where none of the group rules have been answered and the questions haven't been answered, that request gets declined. So, but it's a fun group. There's a couple thousand people in there now, and so lots of resources there. I have some plans that I'd like to use to kind of grow the group and continue to make sure that it's adding some value for everybody, and it's a place that you like to spend time, but we'll get there. It's on the list. On the list, but not super high up on the priority list. Yes, just type in I agree. That's perfect. Please. We want you in the group. We want you there. And I know that Facebook can be really funky sometimes about whether they even show you that there are group rules. So after you put in your request, maybe even go in, I believe there's a spot you can go in and see your pending requests, or go to that group and be able to see what's in there for you. So the guidelines help with this sort of stuff too, right? Making sure that you've got your placement where you want it to be. Oh, that pulled some paint up. That can happen too if you don't have enough paint. You leave some little motes in the middle of your paint as you go around. The name of the Facebook group is .Mandala Addicts by Mandala Love Affair. There is a link in my bio to get you there if that helps. Let's just zoom in a little bit here. Hopefully that helps. Cindy, does that help? And I do lives in the Facebook group there as well. Welcome, Artsy Parts. Thanks, Barb. Thank you, Danae. Did I say your name right, Danae? I'm assuming it's like Renee, but if I've pronounced it wrong, please let me know. Oh, good. I'm glad, Cindy. I use an eraser and then a wet cotton swab to wipe off anything that is left over. I also use watercolor pencil crayon. You can use charcoal pencil, or sometimes some people even just use regular pencil. So it's totally up to you what you use. But that's what I use after a suggestion from my friend Jan. So start with an eraser, get off what you can. The reason for that is that you don't want to add too much water to the watercolor pencil crayon marks, especially if there's any little pockets of the lead anywhere, because watercolor pencil crayons work like watercolor paint when you add water to them, right? So it spreads some color around. It's not meant to wipe everything off, so you want to make sure, that that you're not going to just spread color around everywhere, right? You're most welcome, Shadow Cat Girl. Make sure, too, if you're sitting and painting for any extended period of time, that you allow yourself to get up and stretch every once in a while. Stretch your hands, stretch your shoulders, stretch your neck, stretch your lower back, because it's very, very easy to hunch over, and that can become very painful pretty quickly. I find too that if you are someone who is going to be doing this as a business or creating content, be very, very aware. Don't force yourself to work at an angle so that the camera can catch what you're doing. At least no more often than you absolutely have to. If you can, try your absolute best to put the camera somewhere where it's going to work for you and not cause you to have to kind of sit at any kind of weird angle or anything. Okay, like even this for me, it's way too far out for me. I actually need to bring it back here and be able to dot around here. Yeah, the chalk for that reason is really, really good. And let me tell you, if I could find some good charcoal pencils, chalk pencils that didn't break off every time I tried to sharpen them, I think that I just gave up after a while. So definitely the chalk can be a really, really good option because Barb's exactly right. When you add water to chalk, it's not going anywhere, right? But yeah, so I wait for it to dry for a good 24 hours. And then I would, excuse me, and then I would then erase all of the guidelines at that point. But I'd give it a good 24 hours. So the stencil that I used is this one right here from Happy Dotting Company. And the paints are this brand. Excuse me. I got them at a dollar store. Hey Wolf, how you doing? I hope that's been helpful, you guys. Okay, so now we are going to start backfilling some of this color. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with some yellow here. Sometimes I'll grow the pattern for a little bit and then I'll come back in and do this detail. I don't necessarily have it planned out right away. And I'll choose it based on the color of what have I not carried out yet in the piece, right? Like, so the yellow, the only other thing yellow I have on here is the yellow center dot. So this is working well here. Sorry for sniffling in your ear, you guys. I apologize. So I'm going to be launching some patterns soon. Do you guys want to see? Did I show you the finished pattern? Oh my gosh, Wolf. Oh, I'm glad it was helpful. I know, right? More sneezing. Thank you for the blessed poo. Oh, I'm glad, Shadow Cat Girl. That's wonderful. Thank you for the blessed poo, Sharon. I love the blessed poos. So are you isolating right now, Wolf? Are you okay? You know what? I'm going to use the yellow again. And I'm going to use it right here. So see how I'm going around? It's not being lost on me that I've used that guideline, right? If you didn't draw that solid line all the way around, the only spot I'd have that guideline is within like 1/2 centimeter on either side of that line. So by drawing that line all the way around, it can help, really, really help with spacing. There we go. Oops. I might throw in like some gold or something after. We'll see. We shall wait and see. I think that I need a little bit more of the taupe, I think. Oh, it must feel like forever. Hey, Tammy. Perfectly squeak in another dot. It's funny because one of the cards that I pulled is minimalist, and I'm absolutely terrified to do it. It's not going to go well. I was vaccinated, so it's not that bad. Oh, I'm so glad. Well, of course you'd be a bit lonely. That makes total sense for sure. But I'm glad you're almost done. You're getting there. You are getting there. Oh, definitely do it, Super Grammy. That'd be so fun. Thank you, Queen Bella. More dark pink. Okay, so I'm going to do... Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do dark pink here. Yeah, that looks nice. Right there. Dink. Right there. So see how as you build up this design, again, the spacing issues become virtually non-existent after a while. Right? Because they start to camouflage themselves in here. There we go. So now we are going to do, I think we're going to do the light pink. We're going to do the light pink right in here. Light, light. There we go. All right, bear with me 1 second here, you guys. I need to blow my nose again. And I'm apologizing and warning you at the same time because it's going to be loud. Hi, Audrey. How are you doing? All right. So let's zoom out. This is where we are at so far. So here's my thought. That I would like to I'm going to do a couple little mixings here. So I've got this really pretty pink light metallic that I'm going to use. What color are you? I've got some pretty blue teal ones that might be good to use at some point too, but we'll see. I am going to take the light pink. Okay, so first things first, we are going to catch up on comments. So I'm going to use this light pink, and I'm going to put some on each of these dots here. Just like top dots. Such a subtle difference, but it can brighten things up quite a bit. So it's drying fairly flat, like when it's drying completely flat. So when I look at the taupe and when I look at the dark pink, completely flat. So even though it is a slightly thicker paint than some craft acrylics, like it's not super watery, it is definitely enough, thin enough to dry really, really flat. Now, all right, we're going to keep going. So now we are going to do another yellow. Sorry, thinking. Oh my gosh, so much easier to manipulate than a mug. I know. I'm going to. I'll do little tiny dots. So we'll zoom in there and we'll do some tiny dots. So let's do dark pink in the first row, and then we'll do white in the other two. Dark pink. Yeah, let's do that. Let's try this. Now, what I could do is this. It's going to take an even tinier dot. No, that's not going to work. Yes, it's going to work. No, I can't see a damn thing. Oops. Frig. Frig. Nope. Nope. I'm going to redo those after. Not doing that again. That might be what it ends up being. Who knows, Sharon? We'll see. I get the grids from Happy Dotting Company. First day of my quarantine. We got a goat at the barn. Aw, that's so nice. Thank you, Kenny Cat. That's so kind of you. The stencil comes from Happy Dotting Company. And thank you for making fun of how I sneeze, user. Or how I blow my nose. Been doing some mugs this week. Can't go to the barn. Go to the barn because of... Yeah. It's not worth the risk, right? Oh, that's so nice that you can at least watch them. That's so cool. All right, so I'm going to go back over those later, and I'll redo those couple rows. For now, I'm not loving these colors together. I'm not really happy with it. What to do. Thinking. Okay, we're going to have to pause this one because I'm going to have to come back to it after. I'm sensing a bar of move here. Paint it back and start again. Yeah, that's very, very possible. So before I hate it and just throw it in the garbage and don't even give it the attention to start it over again, I'm just going to set it aside. And let's go back to here. We've got 10 minutes left. Let's go in here. Yeah, there's something about the color scheme that I don't really like. And I think, though, that if I made, a couple color grades, if I made a couple color grades with the pinks and maybe the teals, then I think it would be different. And I think I'd like to come up with some kind of a metallic to do on top of that. So I think I just need to flesh out the colors a little bit more and maybe get rid of the yellow. Or maybe just keep the yellow in but put little bits of gold or something. Okay. So now we are going back. We are going to this pink. Nope, wrong paints. Those ones are going over there. And we are gonna go to that paint. Yep, it happens. Happens more often than we probably would like it to, but it definitely happens a lot. Cut our losses and move on. Yeah, Christina did that after one of her lives, right? There we go. And that looks nice and glowy. And I'll put some metallic pink on that too. So let's do some top swoops. Oh, thank you. I love this one. Not done yet, but we're getting there. I think actually I'm just going to add in some other swoops. So I think I'm going to add in yeah, I'm going to do it this way. We're going to add just some small swoops. Oh! Sorry, I just stuck my hand in paint and then smudged it all over. So I'm going to try and clean it off. I'm not sure it's going to work. Give it a shot. Those little mini pink dots should have been my clue. Hey, you're done now. You're done. Stop. This one has to come off too. Okay, so I'm getting off what I can, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with a little teeny tiny paintbrush. That one was already smudged again. I'm gonna go in with a little teeny tiny paintbrush and my black gesso to try and clean it up. That's frustrating. That's super frustrating. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Barb. And that's the thing, right? And I think that can be so discouraging for so many people who might want to try something like this. If all you ever see is the times when things worked out, you're not getting to see the actual part of that process, right? you're missing a lot because you're not getting to see how to fix it. And then you think that, well, these other people aren't making mistakes, so I must be doing something wrong. And it's just not true. You got to be totally on board with saying, I'm going to make a ton of mistakes. And that's okay, because every time I'm making a mistake, I'm gaining clarity on what I like and clarity on what I don't like. That's not a small enough brush. Crap. Crapola. All right, let's try. Which one can I try that might work? Let's try this one maybe. Nope, that's not going to work. I don't know that I have a small enough one. So, when in doubt, if you don't have a small enough paintbrush, then use your micro daughter. So I'll zoom in here and I'll see the couple little spots that I'm trying to fix up there. Right? So that little bit. Right? A tiny bit less. Right, that covers that. And I'm putting such a tiny amount of paint on, like not even that much. That's too much, actually. Like that much. Tiny, 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 tiny bits of paint. Okay, and now I'm going over here. And there we've got that one covered. That'll dry up. It's not going to be perfect, but I still think people are only going to see that if they're looking at it with a magnifying glass, right? He's going to be... Even if I went in that close with the naked eye, I don't think I would see that. But at least now I know that it's covered. So that'll dry up fairly quickly. So just using that again. So I've been doing this for about 2 years. About 2 years. Tamra? No, I appreciate your effort though, Mary. Thank you. Oh, that's what Sharon said too. First tried it at 18 times speed. Totally, right? And that's the thing. There's so many videos out there, all of mine, they are all hyperlapsed, right? They're all sped up. So they're going to be very, very different in real speed. I remember the first time I saw an Art of Points video at real speed doing the swoops, I didn't know. I felt so discouraged, but at the same time so excited, because it's like I just kind of had this, great minds. User 546. All right, so let's now how did the round go? Let me show you what it looks like right now. I'm not a fan. I'm probably going to sand it down and start over again and mix some color grades. But you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I stick this here in the camera to make sure I get a really good look at it. And I'm even going to screenshot it, because I want to be able to show this versus what I end up doing. Yeah, so this is the one that we started on. I'm actually going to probably sand it down and paint it over again. I'm really, really not happy with the spacing over here. I'm realizing that I wanted to leave a little bit more space so I could go in and do some detail. I tried to add in a bunch of detail and got very overzealous and couldn't fit it all in there. So this is actually going to get sanded down and start over, but I'm going to create like a color grade with some teals and the color grade between the two pinks and see what we can do to play with that. I think it will, the piece itself will thank us for it, I think. So this is a stone I started yesterday. I'm going to wait and do the rest of the top dots after. Let's just do a couple of swoops. I just want to do some swoops, you guys. So you know what? I'm going to do swoops down this way. None of these are doing what I want them to do. Okay, you guys, you know what? I just looked at the clock. It's 8:30. I'm going to stop banging my head against this wall that does not want me to get past this point today. We will come back and try this again. I'm not going live tomorrow, at least nothing scheduled for tomorrow. But I am going to be going live twice on Friday. I'm going to be going live from 2 to 4 and from 7 to 9 on Friday. Those lives will be on Facebook and Instagram. Please check my most recent post here on TikTok. And it will have it'll have the schedule for the next little bit. I'm going to try and get some more of the pattern done and just try and kind of take a bit of a breath for a few minutes. And I'm going to maybe even try and get ahead of myself to be ready for my shop restock this weekend. So I'm not going to have anywhere near as many things to list as I thought I was going to, but I'll have a couple things. I'll have 4 mugs. 4 mugs. No, I'll have probably 6 or 7 mugs actually to list. I'll show you. Let me grab them and I'll show you what ones are going to get added to the shop. Let me just, okay, it's fine. It's fine. Oh, bite me. When you start yelling back at your painting, that's when it's time to walk away for a bit. Right, and that's not dry enough anyway. All right, so you know what? I'm gonna stop doing this. So let's have a look. Yes, thank you everybody for being so kind and supportive. The pen, this was just one of the silicone brushes on the end of one of the dotting tools. You can get sets like this that have the silicone brushes on the end from Dot Art Depot. So this is going to be one of the mugs that we're going to have. Thank you. I hope so too. Bye, Sharon. What did I do for work? Fabian, this is it. This is my full-time job. I used to do training and consulting for car dealerships. What happens if you make a mistake on the rocks? Same thing. You just have to paint over it with your base coat. But you can still pull the paint off if you can. If it gets left too long, then it'll dry and leave bumps on there. So if you can pull it off while it's still wet, that's the ideal way to go. Otherwise, with the one like this that's dry that I'm going to start over again, I'm actually going to sand it off. So this is going to be part of the shop restock, as is this bad boy. Now the one on the white isn't going to be a drinkable mug. This one is a drinkable mug because there are no cracks in this one. This is the relief mug. We have least favorite season. So it looks all wintry with gusts of wind. We have darkness. This is darkness. I've heard people say it's very Game of Thrones-ish. So this is another one. And then after we did that one, we did the white on white. And that's this one. And I added a ton of extra paint, so it's really bumpy and it feels absolutely wonderful. So I still have to do the handle on this one, but this one is definitely going to be part of the shop update this Saturday. I love this one. I think it's so pretty. And then let me just show you a couple others to bring you back up to speed with what's going to be there. These two are actually going to be also on the site for like cup holders, not usable drinkable mugs, because these are not multi-surface paints. I painted these ones by accident with the wrong paints, but they're still really, really pretty. So these ones are going to be available as well, kind of like the white one for relief, where it will have to be used as like a cup holder. These ones would be really good for planters because they're nice and big. So these ones are going to be a part of Saturday's restock. And this one, which is resilient, this is going to be available on Saturday. Oh, sorry, I should hold that still. Resilient. And then we have Gratitude. I love this one. I love that pearl pink color. So Gratitude is another one. And the last one is going to be this one. I love this one too. Of course, the little detail on the handle. So these are all the different mugs that'll be part of the shop update. I might even get the pattern done by then too. You never know. So there might be a new pattern showing up on the website soon. But if you have any questions, please let me know. Please take care of yourselves. Thanks for helping me be so attempt to be so productive today. It was fun to just kind of play. I definitely need a little bit of a break from the mugs to give my arm a rest and kind of do a couple other things, but we're going to be getting back to a lot of that stuff soon. So thanks for hanging out while I played with some new paint and keeping me company. I really, really appreciate you coming and choosing to spend your time with me. I love you guys. Thanks, Sharon. What was that, Christy? Oh, thank you, Susan. I did. I dipped into my paint with my tool. What? I'll have to find that. Didn't see that. Thank you, Tammy. Thanks, Lady J. The dark one's kind of cool, eh? Thanks, Kristen. So many people are drinking coffee out of plastic cups. Right? Because I got all the mugs. Nobody's got any left. So if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to let me know. Saturday at noon Eastern is when all of these mugs will go up on the website. And hopefully I'll see you again Friday afternoon, 2 to 4. And I'm also going to be live 7 to 9. I love you guys again, and thank you so much. We'll see you soon. Bye. Love to you too.